Hello, everybody. How you doing? It's another edition on Be Inspired. How you doing? If you are in diaspora, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. However, you are doing great wherever you're doing or wherever you find yourself doing. Yes, today on Being Inspired on Cleveland TV, we have a guest we want to chat to. Her name is Cheyenne. Cheyenne. She will just tell us more about her names, about other stuff. I know she's also an actress. She's a mom. She's a multi-talented artist. She's a people's personality, and she's here to share her journey with us. Cheyenne, how you doing?
I'm getting you, boo.
Wow, good to have you here.
It's good to be here. I feel like I haven't seen you in a hot minute.
Exactly. So let's jump right at it. Who's Cheyenne?
Cheyenne. What about. Sorry. What?
I said, who's Cheyenne?
Oh, who am I? I'm a 27-year-old that went through a delayed quarter life crisis and decided that I was tired of working on other people's dreams and left my day job and started following my own dreams because, hey, why not?
Okay, so what dreams are you following now, Cheyenne?
So I am currently working on pursuing an acting career. It is something I've always dreamed about doing since I was a kid. Since I left school, I'd been working in retail and realized very quickly by the time I turned 26 that I had spent the entirety of my early to mid 20s doing nothing but work. And none of it was really to benefit me. So I made a plan and saved up and I left and got an amazing agent, which you know, Kanya from Stone Culture. And yeah, this year's been a journey about, working on our dreams and our goals and finding our footing in life. And it's not easy, but if it was easy, everyone would do it, let's be honest. But it's been an amazing journey so far. I've met some really great people and made some really great connections. And recently I started working with Camilla Waldman, who's an amazing acting coach as well. So,
Beautiful. All right, let's go back quickly to your work you did before. Tell us about the experiences and what was the outcome of the work you did before you decided to jump right into acting?
so I never had the opportunity to study after school. We couldn't afford it. I couldn't get a student loan, and my two of my subjects didn't qualify for varsity entrance, so I couldn't get a bursary either. So I had to start working, and I started as a sales assistant in a retail luggage store and got promoted into management shortly after I started working there, and went from working in Fraser's in the Glen to working in Fraser's in Bedford View, and then left the Busby Group as a company as a whole and started working for the Cape Union Mart Group in their old khaki store that was in Hyde Park from the time it closed from the time it opened to the time it closed. And then I worked in Tread and Miller for its last year that it was open.
Wow,
So, well, in Rosebank. So it's been a really long journey.
very
I
long
met
journey.
amazing people throughout. I mean, I met my best friend in retail and I met my boyfriend through retail. So majority of my friends I met through retail. So it was a fulfilling time in my life, but there was always something missing. And it was just that little something that I needed to do for me. But it was really great. And you meet amazing people. I mean, I became really good friends with, I don't know if you've ever heard of a guy named Tom Fairfoot. He's actually a really well-known voice actor. He's a British guy. He's really sweet, little kooky, really fun, got great dry British humor. But you meet a lot of great people in the industry. Um, the unfortunate thing is once you're in management in retail, all you actually do is work.
Yeah,
You very rarely get any time for yourself.
yeah. All right, let's go. Talking about acting, what inspired you to become an actress?
It was actually a movie that I watched as a kid. It's called Because of Winn-Dixie, and it's got Anna Sophia Robin when she was like 9 years old or whatever. And it was just something about watching that movie as a kid that inspired me about the way this young girl captured this character and was able to affect my life in a way that never would have been affected. And I'd never even met the girl. And I think that's truly what started inspiring me, was just that one movie that I happened to watch as a kid because it had a dog in it and I thought dogs were cute. And I watched that, and afterwards I was like, I would love to be able to touch people's lives without ever actually meeting them, because there's just something so magical about bringing a character and a story to life in such a way that affects people in ways you would never otherwise be able to affect people. And I think that's a beautiful gift.
Beautiful. That's beautiful to hear. And so, where are you with that now? How far have you gone with the acting?
So I don't want anyone to get any like strange ideas about how everyone's going to live like they live in a Hollywood movie. Because I know people have this idea of you go for an audition and you get the part. And to be fair, a small part of me really hoped it would be like that. It's a journey. It's not a race, it's a journey. And my journey has just started. And it's been an amazing journey so far. I've done a lot of works on adverts with Kanya. So that's mostly what I've been doing at the moment. But I've started working with, like I said, Kamola Waldman, who's an acting coach. So through that work, we're hoping to, slowly build up my characters and my ability to portray different things to hopefully start getting into the bigger things within the new year.
Talking about building characters, how often do you sharpen your character wise or your skills in acting?
That's the thing. Acting, what I have found, is actually daily work. It's the reason it's still called a job, because with practice, comes perfect. With practice comes, muscle memory as well. So especially when you're doing characters, whether that's voicing characters or playing characters, that is something you need to work on every single day. And you can do it all the time. I mean, I do it if I'm reading a book. I like reading children's books. It's this weird thing it's just a weird thing I enjoy. Children's books make me happy, like the Brothers Grimm books and Diary of a Wimpy Kid and Goosebumps. And what I like to do is I like to read aloud. And as you're reading aloud, you give each character their own unique voice and you start building characters around that. And it's a weird opportunity to actually practice on a daily basis, is just to sit down and read a book and walk around the house if you must and just read aloud, practice those voices. Eventually you get them down.
Did you know you're gradually becoming a voice-over artist by doing that?
It's kind of what I want to work on.
Exactly, exactly. Apart from if you're not acting now, what else would we have seen you doing?
Oh, well, if they're not doing acting work, well, you actually caught me whilst I was busy going over grammar. Who would have thought after school we'd still be going over grammatical errors and sentences and things. I'm looking at starting another thing as well on the side, which is going to be teaching English online. There's some friends of mine that work for a really amazing company that helps business professionals all over the world with, just improving their English and that. So, because it is slowly becoming a more widely spoken language. And the funny thing is, you need to be bilingual, if not trilingual, in this crazy developing world that we live in. So I'm excited to start that and see where that goes as well.
Mm,
And the
mm.
nice thing about doing something like that is it's great, it has extra income, but the other nice thing about that is it's something you can also work around an acting schedule, because we all know how unforeseen that can be sometimes. You can get a notification today that you need to be somewhere tomorrow at 6 a.m. and it's how it works. And I also enjoy painting, although I haven't done many custom artworks recently, but I do enjoy painting as well. I enjoy doing custom pieces for people. It's another little passion of mine.
Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. Can you tell us a little bit of your, just tell us a bit about acting for some people who are lamed out there. They don't understand what acting is all about. What is acting to you personally?
To me personally, acting is the ability to not just immerse yourself into a character, but to actually bring a character to life through movement, through speaking, through becoming someone else, even just for a momentary second. It's almost like a 2-minute break from reality and living in someone else's shoes, if we can use the saying of try living in someone else's shoes. Because you're able to do things you otherwise would never have done because you would never realistically be that person. And that's basically what it is to me, is the ability to bring to life a character and to momentarily walk in someone else's shoes and really understand what's happening.
Interesting. And so that's the part of it we're talking about, because quite a number of people may not just think or try to feel that acting is just something that made for everyone. I don't think it's made for everyone.
A lot
So
of people get the idea that it's you
how
put in
would
front
you,
of a camera, you read some lines, and Bob's your uncle, you can act. But there's a lot more that goes into it because you have to have emotional depth for certain characters. You know, you might be playing someone who's completely losing their mind and you can't just sit in a corner and scream. You actually need to understand why they're doing that to really capture the emotional essence of that scene.
yeah, so that's what I want to ask you. How do you know, or how do you discover as an individual that you are poor or that you are made to be an actor?
I guess it's almost like a calling, like how some people are just, really great, like teachers, for example. They're the kids that always enjoy tutoring other kids and they always loved helping the little ones with their homework. And for them, they would never have felt a calling to go and stand in front of a screen and read lines per se. For them, they become teachers because they have a calling in life to teach and to, bring knowledge to people's attention and help people grow in a different way. Whereas with acting, I think it's just something, like I said in the beginning, I saw that and was like, I want to change people's lives that I'll never meet.
Hmm.
And so I think it really is something that you're called to do in a special way. And everyone receives that calling in their own way.
So what are you best known as? Is it an actor or a grammarian?
Oh, sorry, my nose is itchy. An actress or?
Or grammarian?
Oh, for grammar. No, the grammar is just something I'm doing on the side. That's just, you know, teaching people English online. If you go onto my Instagram profile, you'll see there it says actor in the biography. That is the image I'm creating. That is who I am. That is the essence. So
Interesting. Interesting. So I'm also an actor myself, so I understand your appeal.
I've
I
seen some of your work. You're really good.
see that you're very passionate about what you do. Well, all I can say is just give it a shot and keep pushing. No retreat, no surrender. And then
Of course.
practice yourself more. Okay, so before I even do that to you, how do you practice yourself into becoming an actress every day? What do you use? What tools do you use?
Well, like I've said previously, when it comes to, when you have a break during the day, I like to read books aloud and focus on and practice character voices and that. I also enjoy, I don't know if it sounds weird, but I don't know if you've been on TikTok, you get the little acting challenges.
Okay.
So those are really fun to do as well because you almost get to like duet with other people who are in the industry online and, you know, you get to practice different characters and you actually get to see what does and doesn't work for you, which I think is a really fun tool that, it's new to a lot of us, but it's really actually very useful because how else would you really discover if you could play someone who's really angry all the time or someone who's sad or if you are able to cry on the spot without practice. And I think those are nice because you can kind of scroll through some of the little challenges and find things and be like, I want to try and duet this. And even if you don't upload it and it lives in your drafts for 5 years, you know that you can always go back and be like, okay, this is where I was last year. Let me try it again and see how I've improved. And it's constant work. It really is constant work. And there are so many tools out there to use in this day and age that I think a lot of people don't really take advantage of. I mean, YouTube is like a free university for everything. Okay, there are so many actors and voiceover artists and singers and people on YouTube that are willing to make videos and put it out there almost as like free lessons to give you tips and tricks and things that you can go through and practice. And TikTok and Instagram, people think they're just for social media platforms for socializing and, oh, look at my pretty dress or whatever. But there are so many helpful and useful things on those platforms that not enough people take advantage of.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, true to that. Quite a number of stuff that people don't take advantage of. People don't pay attention to actually to grab knowledge.
I think people are also afraid of judgments. I mean, every time we post something, we're putting ourselves out there. Every time we speak openly about something, you're putting yourself out there. I think what people forget is that 2 or 3 people might look at that and remember it for the next 3 months. But a majority of people are going to look at your post, they're either going to like it or they're not, and they're going to be thinking about what they're making for dinner in 5 minutes. So I think people need to stop being afraid of taking the step and lose that fear of judgment, because you know what? If people are judging you, it means that they're just jealous because you're doing something that they're not. It's the only reason people judge is because they're basically judging themselves through you.
Exactly. And it's just that it's more importantly what they call inferiority complex. Yeah.
My mother always told me, whether they love you or hate you, they're still thinking about you.
Exactly. Cheyenne, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will continue with Cheyenne. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go away. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Hello there. Looking for an African movie? Search no further. Clevenard African Movies TV is here for you. We are dedicated to the acceleration of African films, TV series, documentaries, and lots more. Explore our movies at home or on the go. Clevenard Movies is free to watch on clevenard.com. Don't miss this opportunity. Hurry now. Sign up and subscribe today.
Welcome back on Be Inspired with Ugotuvijames. Yes, right here on the show with Cheyenne, actress, motivational, grammarian, right here in South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Cheyenne. All right, Cheyenne, we're still talking about you. So I want to ask you, what motivates you to push harder in life?
What basically motivates me to succeed in life?
Yes.
That would be my parents. I know it sounds cliche because everyone's like, oh, my mom and my dad. No, really it is. Like, we went through ups and downs growing up. We went through a time where we had very little. We went through a time where we had everything we could have ever wanted. And we went through a time where we had almost nothing. And I think growing up, I'd watched my parents sacrifice so many things for us as kids just to make sure that, we had food and a roof over our heads and clothes on our backs. And my parents have never stopped working. And I think for me, it's always been a very big thing for me that I've always wanted my parents to be able to retire and not have to worry about whether they're going to be able to still pay for, the water and lights in the house and, fit the bill at the end of the month. And one of my biggest motivators to succeed is that one of my weirdest, biggest dreams is that I want to buy my parents a home that they need to pay nothing on and they can just live in and retire in one day. And I think that's kind of what keeps me going a little bit, is that I know that each day I'm getting a little bit closer to being able to do that.
Interesting. Talking about your parents, can you tell us a little bit of your growing up? Can you share your growing up with your parents with us? How, your upbringing?
Well, when I was a kid, I was a very quiet child. I was picked on a lot, didn't really have many friends. My mother still calls me her fairy child to this day, because I used to sit in the garden and I used to talk to the fairies in the garden because I was convinced that there were fairies living in our garden. And by the time I was like 10, my parents just gave up and agreed that I was talking to the fairies in the bloody garden. They were like, okay, cool. I was quite a whimsical child. Cried like my heart out when they built a swimming pool because they dug up the fairies' home, until they built a little wooden house for the fairies to live in. And my mind was at ease. But they were good parents. I mean, my father taught me to bake and cook. He's an amazing cook and an amazing baker. And my mother's also pretty good at cooking and baking, although she can't make sweet carrots. She burns them every time, but I'll still eat them because they still taste good. I have an older sister and a younger brother. And my sister and I were an absolute nightmare when we both became teenagers. We fought like cat and dog. My poor parents had to live with us both. But we got older. We're much better now. We don't throw wrenches at each other anymore. So we're less psycho now that we're older. But our parents literally never let us go without. They did whatever they could throughout our childhood to make sure we always had what we needed, not what we wanted. My mother had her favorite sayings. When we upset her, her favorite saying was, "I gave you life, I can take it away." We didn't upset her very often. And when we were in the shops, we used to get one doesn't get. We got things if we needed it, one doesn't get. And it was silly little things. And as a kid, you get upset. But when you get older, you actually understand it and you appreciate those little lessons that your mom taught you of, you know, the value of things. And you can't just always buy things just because you want it. And, you know, I'm grateful to my father for teaching me to bake and cook, because it's one of my favorite things to do now as a child. I mean, as an adult. I'm still a child at heart. I have parents. I'm still a kid. So I was terrified of the dark, though. Terrified of the dark. Like, there had to be lights on in the house. I was like...
You're terrified of dogs?
Of the dark. Love dogs. Terrified of the darkness.
Oh, the darkness. Oh, okay.
There had to be a light on at all times. And like, I used to do this thing where when I needed to go to the bathroom, I'd like switch on my bedroom lights and peek down the passage and like run to the bottom and smack on the passage lights and then go to the bathroom at night.
How did you do that? Did you feel that there was something that you connected to in the dark?
Yeah, I was convinced there was something living in our passage. Like, convinced. You could not convince me otherwise. I was just terrified.
Don't you think that as children, all of us went through that as well? We all went through that as kids.
I think a lot of kids were scared of the dark. Like, I think it's a thing that we go through, you know, the fear of the unknown almost.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
When it's dark, you can't really see what's going on. And I think that's terrifying.
There's also some passages and some places in the house in those days while growing up where it's just weird. You don't go there often. You're just afraid of that place. It's almost like you feel like there's somebody there. It's almost like you feel like you're hearing something there. And then you are just down there, you know, or to go to that room. You know, you just don't go down there. You
and
know,
it's
we all
so
went,
real to you.
and it's so real to everyone, yeah. And even not just you, even your siblings. People just don't go down there easily, you know. So,
Yeah.
but I think it's what they call the
Sixth sense.
child. Yeah, it's child's imagination of the present and the dark. You have to understand it like that. don't forget that some of these things happens to other people, and they actually start seeing real stuff from them.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm 27-year-old and I'm still terrified of the dark, so I never quite got over the darkness thing.
Okay, so let's move forward. Cheyenne, what is new for you?
Wow, I wish I actually had an answer.
Yeah?
I've been at home for a while. I had to get a new laptop though. My old laptop decided it was no longer my friend, but it is about 7 years old now, so I guess that's new.
That's new.
So like I said, I just recently started working with Camilla Waldman. So that's also something that's about beginning of this month. Yeah, it's the beginning of this month I started working with her. So that's something new that I've started doing. It's been actually really exciting. It's really great because you start to learn a lot of new things that otherwise you couldn't otherwise learn unless you have someone to learn with, you know? I don't know if that makes sense, but sometimes it's difficult to learn things by yourself. Sometimes you need that outsider input.
Any advice for somebody or any woman or any girl who wants to join acting industry? What advice would you give them?
Everyone's going to say you need experience, but remember that everyone does not necessarily mean everyone. I thought it was everyone. And then you always meet like those 2 or 3 people that are like, listen, we've all got to start somewhere. And you just need to remember that everyone started somewhere. No one just woke up, walked outside, and magically became an actress. And all of a sudden was starring in movies and soapies and series and everything. Everyone had to start somewhere. And you can never let the fear of failure or rejection hold you back from actually pursuing your dreams. Because you never actually know if you can do it until you try. And if you don't believe it, remember that Jim Carrey was living in his car and had $15 to his name when he was discovered. And Brad Pitt once wore a chicken suit and threw one of those signs around to show people where the fried chicken was. So no one woke up a celebrity. Everyone started somewhere.
Exactly. Everyone starts somewhere.
You must never be afraid to take a chance.
Yeah. And then talking about not to be afraid, any word for somebody who is like kind of down and not inspired to pursue their career, or feel of somebody who's full of misery. Like sometimes people go through a lot of
You go through a down patch.
yes. So sometimes they're walking in the dark and they just need the light to come out. What can you say to these kind of people? What word of inspiration do you have for them?
Like it happens to everyone personally. If I find myself feeling a bit low, I have a weird coping mechanism. I just sit and watch the entirety of the Harry Potter movies and I feel better. So that's my coping mechanism when I'm feeling really down because it's just one of those happy things for me. You know, everyone has bad days. Everyone goes through tough things. Everyone sometimes sits and questions whether they're doing the right thing for themselves. And it's okay to have doubts because like I said in the beginning, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Yeah.
And bottom line is you need to find an anchor. You need to find that one thing that can pull you back. And it could be anything. It could be someone that's in your life. It could be that one happy movie series. It could be going outside and planting something new and watching it grow. There's studies that have been done that show that gardening can actually be one of the most therapeutic activities. And I love gardening. I love growing things. And there's something so satisfying about watching something grow out of nothing but a seed. And it
Right.
sounds ridiculous to say it, but if people are feeling down, honestly, they need to find an anchor, that thing that can bring them back from that place and just bring that little bit of light back.
Okay. On that note, we're going to go on a second break and then we will continue when we come back. Don't go away. Stay tuned. We'll be
Hello there. Looking for an African movie? Search no further. Clevenard African Movies TV is here for you. We are dedicated to the acceleration of African films, TV series, documentaries, and lots more. Explore our movies at home or on the go. Clevenard Movies is free to watch on clevenard.com. Don't miss this opportunity. Hurry now. Sign up and subscribe today.
Welcome back on Being Inspired. So yes, we're still here with Cheyenne, actress, and Grobler was talking about a lot of stuff, and then she's advising us and sharing with us many more things that she really encountered and knows best to share. Cheyenne, I want to ask you. You started giving us some spiritual guidance. What's your belief in there? What is your belief system as a human being?
Well, look, admittedly, yes, I was brought up in a Christian home. However, growing up, I just kind of went on my own little way. I don't like the idea of labels personally, because I feel the moment you tell someone I'm Christian or I'm Jewish or I'm Muslim or something, there's an expectation that unknowingly actually gets put on you. So for me, I just like the idea of knowing that I work with the world and the universe around me. And if there's something that I feel that I need guidance on, I send it out into the universe and, you know, sit and I think on it. And almost like how you would, for example, pray and you send your prayer out and wait for guidance. I send my worries out to the universe and wait for the divine guidance. It's a little bit different, but
Tell
it's
us more.
just
Tell us more about the divine time.
so for
For
me
some
that
people,
could be
for some of us,
anything from if I want to know if, I'm making the right decisions and I'm not sure, what's going on and the sun all of a sudden starts shining through the clouds. It's almost like to me a sign from Mother Earth being like, it's you're doing okay. I also have my oracle cards, which are, I know there's a weird stigma on oracle cards and tarot cards. I personally don't use tarot cards. I like oracle cards because they give advice. They're literally a pack of cards that give you advice. And every now and then you're having a bad day, you pull out a card and, you know, focus on your question. You might get the walk away card, which is, leave the unhealthy situation behind and enjoy the new doors that open as a result. Or the affirmations card, which is use positive affirmations for a positive outcome. And, little things like that. And for me, that's kind of something I'll go to for that little bit of guidance of, am I making the right decisions? Or maybe I'm having a bad day and I just need to understand that it's going to be okay.
wow, you're at the age of 20, you're 20 what again?
27.
27, and you're loaded so much like this. Wow, that's beautiful. Well done. Well done. You've worked so hard on yourself. And that's what we want to see in every person. Be ready for life. Be strong for life. Be equipped for life. Now, moving forward on that note, we want to ask you, are you married or are you single?
I am living with my partner.
Uh-huh.
And I have been for 7 years now. So I guess by common law, it would technically married. It's a very old law that I'm pretty sure no longer exists.
Okay. Okay, you're technically married, but not you have not done the rights yet.
Yeah, no ring, no paper. Still have my own surname.
When are you going to do that? And
Oh,
I
it's
will
not
keep.
up to me, he's a very proud Portuguese man, so we know that it's going to be up to him and he'll make that decision.
Okay, awesome. Any last word for the people listening to you now, or anybody who needs your advice on anything? What would that be that you would like to say to them?
Well, one, I want to say thank you very much for this. It was great to see your face again, and I'm inspired by you personally. And to anyone out there who's just thinking of pursuing anything, whether it's acting or singing, or you just want a change of career and there's something you've always wanted to do, just do it. You know what? Who cares what anyone thinks? There was this poem I read, which is what changed my mind. There was a nurse who used to nurse old people on their deathbeds. And she wrote down a list of the top 10 regrets of old people before they died. And the number one regret was, I wish I had lived my life to make me happy and not everyone else.
Wow.
And that is something I've always carried with me, because we all do it, whether we're conscious of it or not. Every single one of us on a daily basis, when we make a decision, a thought always goes through our mind of someone else and what they would think. And you know what? One day, it's not going to matter. What matters is that you're living your life to keep yourself happy, because your happiness needs to come first.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yes, that's so inspiring, though, to hear that. Life is what you make of it.
Exactly. It's a journey. Might as well make it a journey you're going to enjoy. Enjoy your journey, leave a mark.
And keep going.
Exactly.
All right. On that note, we will say thank you so much,
Thank
Cheyenne,
you.
to be with us here on Be Inspired. I think it's been a very, very interesting moment with you. We gladly love all the things you've shared with us. I mean, that's very, very coming from a 27-year-old woman. You sound like you're 50-something years old. But I thank God for your kind of knowledge and wisdom that you have and that He has put inside of you. We look forward. We wish you all the best. I wanted to ask you, where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
Next 10 years, I see myself making waves, living my dream, making movies, doing everything I've ever wanted to do, including changing lives and living happy and buying my parents that home that I keep wanting to buy them. That's the 5-year plan.
And we wish you all the best on that. We wish you
Thank
all
you
the best.
so much.
God grants all your heart desires. Every time we hear of you, it will be good. All right.
Thank you so much. Stay blessed, everyone. Stay happy.
All right, everybody. That's it for us on Be Inspired today. I hope you have been inspired so far, because this is the reason why we created this, for you to get a glimpse of what it's all about and begin to sharpen and encourage yourself in your life that you've got. As long as you're breathing, there's still hope. Never give up hope. Stand strong till we meet you next time again on Be Inspired on CleverNet TV. Stay strong. One love.